Fox 8 News is New Orleans' fastest growing evening news. Fox 8's Local First starts now.
I could hear them saying, everybody get out of the house, get out of the house, get out of the houses, get out of the houses. And I was like, it was just complete pandemonium.
We're learning more about the chaotic effort to rescue children and other people from a burning Broadmoor business after a suspected stolen car crashed into the hair salon and supply store. Good afternoon, I'm Liz Reyes.
And I'm Shelley Brown. Right now, 9 people recover from their injuries. The 2 people inside of the suspected stolen car died.
The NOPD says officers tried to stop the vehicle but did not pursue when it sped away. This afternoon, we're hearing more from witnesses about what happened as well as the business itself.
After decades, it became an anchor in the community, and neighbors say they knew they could go there for help. We have team coverage over the next couple of hours. We begin right now with Natasha Robin live at Washington and South White, where it all happened.
Well, people who live in this neighborhood describe a wild scene of rescues and evacuations. Meanwhile, police are still investigating.
And I heard something go shh, boom. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? That sounds like it's in the front of my door.
Just after 8:30, this is what people in the Broadmoor neighborhood came outside to witness.
And then you could just see the flames going up. And I was like, oh my God.
Some grabbed their cell phones and started recording.
I could hear them saying, everybody get out of the house, get out of the house, get out of the houses, get out of the houses. And I was like, it was just complete pandemonium. Like all the lights went out and then you could just see the flames.
Police say everything started when an NOPD unit attempted to stop what they believe to be a stolen vehicle several blocks away at South Derbandy in Toledano.
Upon the officers initiating this traffic stop by activating their lights, the vehicle that they attempted to stop then accelerated. Upon doing so, these officers, we believe at that time, disengaged and deactivated their lights.
Police say the suspected stolen vehicle continued speeding, crashing into several cars, hit a tree, and then ran into the Unity One Beauty Supply and Hair Salon, bursting into flames at Washington and South White Street.
Immediately, they went into a rescue mode. Upon their arrival, they discovered a female and 2 kids in this building.
But I saw people trying to break the windows. I could hear them going boom, boom, but the windows weren't breaking. I could hear them saying, there's children up there, there's children up there, there's people upstairs. And they were like, we got to get them out, we got to get them out.
This witness told Fox 8 within minutes, first responders jumped into action, using ladders to rescue several people from the burning building. Those victims were rushed to the hospital, along with 2 NOPD officers who police say suffered smoke inhalation.
Additionally, there was 1 firefighter who had smoke injuries. They did not need transport to the hospital. They are stable at this time.
The suspected stolen vehicle engulfed in flames, and police say 2 people inside that car died. Meanwhile, the building continued to burn for hours. Today, the cleanup began, and people in the neighborhood tried to come to grips with what unfolded here.
I feel like all we can do is pray for our community, and that's what we have to do.
Now, police have not released the names of the people who died in that car. Now, the beauty salon that caught fire is a staple in this neighborhood. People who live here are very upset about what happened. Kimberly Kurth has more on that.
And the owner of that beauty salon that you see behind me here is devastated by what happened at her shop last night. She has been in business here for nearly 40 years, and people in the neighborhood say they knew this place is somewhere they could go if they needed help. They say the couple who owns the salon even feed people in need on a daily basis. But as you can see, the damage reveals just how bad that fatal fire was last night. One of the owners, Beverly Smith, says they came back after Katrina and she wants to rebuild once again. But for now, she's asking for prayers from the community and praying for those who were hurt and for the families of the 2 people killed.
I want this neighborhood to know that even though this happened, we are very resilient. We can still come together, even if we have to do it outside until we can build back up. I want to build it back up.
And Smith says she is also thinking about her employees tonight who are now out of a job. And we will have more reaction on that fatal fire coming up tonight on Fox 8 News at 5. But for now, reporting live from Washington Avenue, Kimberly Kurth, Fox 8 Local First.
All right, Kimberly, thank you. The Independent Police Monitor says it's still too early in the investigation to see if there was any wrongdoing. The NOPD said officers started to conduct a traffic stop when the car started to speed away. Chief Monitor Tony McClary says there's a difference, however, between what information an officer needs to pull over a vehicle and start chasing it.
All they need to initiate a traffic stop is reasonable suspicion that a traffic violation had occurred. However, in order to pursue a vehicle, that's when that criteria comes in. It has to be a crime of violence. You have to have attempted to stop the car, and you have to believe that there's an imminent threat. So actually, when they're looking at this investigation, they could potentially exonerate the officers and say they did a great job. They did exactly what they were supposed to do on a traffic stop. But then that would be it, and then they would have to have a whole separate investigation to whether or not, if they believe the officers initiated a chase, whether it was justified and whether they followed their policies.
Tanya McClary says at this point, the NOPD does not believe there was a chase. We'll, of course, continue to bring you breaking updates on the investigation. You can also get them any time of day on fox8live.com and the Fox 8 News app.
And right now we are following some breaking news on the murder of a local music promoter. The Orleans Parish DA's office just announced that a grand jury indicted Tyrone Fountain on second-degree murder. Police say he fought Marla Beelan for her purse in December in the 7th Ward, then slammed her head against the concrete several times. She later died of her injuries.
LSU basketball made its first appearance in the NCAA tournament since 2015.
The Tigers also got their first tournament win since 2009. Garland Gillen has a recap from Jacksonville, Florida.
LSU raced out to a 9-0 lead to start the contest, upped their advantage against Yale to 18, and held on for a 5-point win.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this is the most important time of the year, and you know, I think just this atmosphere and the idea of going through this journey and trying to win the whole thing, I think that brings guys together within itself. But you know, at the end of the day, we have great guys who, you know, care about each other. And well, when you have a team like this, it's something special, and you just try to enjoy it as much as possible.
I feel the first game is usually the hardest game. Obviously, there's new guys, nerves and stuff like that. So I feel like getting a win, you know, gives the guys a lot of confidence moving forward, and hopefully, you know, we can make a run this time.
We came up here, you know, I know a lot of players was nervous, you know. Not too many people get the opportunity to play over here. You know, it just feels great to get the win, our first win out the way.
The last time LSU made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament was 10 years ago. They lost to eventual champion North Carolina. In Jacksonville, Garland Gillen, Fox 8 Local First.
For a full recap of the game and reaction from the team, head to our Tiger Huddle app. You'll also find articles and videos for all of LSU sports. You can also get in touch and submit a question for the Fox 8 sports team.
A New Orleans officer went to a hospital this afternoon after he was hurt while chasing someone in a motel parking lot. This all happened in the 4900 block of Chef Mentor Highway after two officers tried to stop a car in a possible drug investigation. Real One Belogan reports.
I saw one guy get slammed to the ground, and then everything else was just a mystery.
Devin Hare and her friends are in New Orleans for a visit when a police chase happened in front of their room at the Econo Lodge on Chef Highway.
It is a little interesting, and I've never been to New Orleans. That was the first thing that happened.
NOPD says two officers tried to pull over a car because they suspected drugs might be inside, but they say one of the two people inside of the car took off running. One of the officers then went after that person, but cut his arm on a guardrail during the chase. The other officer finally caught the person who ran, but the whole thing made motel employees nervous.
I just heard a lot of cops, so I got scared and I stayed on the other side.
Devin Hare was in the hotel lobby when everything happened.
Two cops came in just to use the restroom, and then 5 minutes later, everyone was pulling in with sirens, and I walked out because my room was right outside of the scene.
Maria Rivera says after the incidents, guests started checking out of the motel early, while others canceled after hearing what happened.
Yeah, I'm scared, because I will be scared and nervous.
But it didn't scare Hera and her friends too much.
I'm hoping it's not anything too serious.
I'm excited to go explore everywhere else.
The NOPD tells us that officers took both of the people in the car into custody. They have not released any information about them or if they've been booked on any charges. Liz?
Thanks a lot there, Real One. Entergy New Orleans says it's installed advanced smart meters on 4,000 homes in the city. The company gave the city an update on that effort today. Entergy says the smart meters give more accurate electricity and gas readings, and because they connect directly with Entergy, workers don't have to go to the homes to read them. At this point, 8 customers, though, decided against getting the new software.
If 99.9% of our customers have advanced meters and there's a small 1/10% or 0.2% that say they don't want it, it really isn't fair that everybody else pay those costs for a manual meter read, for example, even if they're not changing out the meter that's there.
Homeowners who decline to get the new meters will be charged a one-time fee in addition to a monthly fee of about $13. Entergy says that covers the cost of having crews come out and manually read the meter, as well as administrative costs to maintain a separate billing system. Entergy reps say the utility is on track to install smart meters at the majority of New Orleans homes by the end of next year.
The streak of beautiful weather continues, and Chief Meteorologist David Bernard is back and has a first look at your Weather Authority forecast.
And this is the kind of weather I like to come back to. Non-existent. Is it not perfect outside? Look at a live picture of the lake this afternoon. Blue skies as far as the eyes can see, and the humidity. Boy, remember this, because you're just a month or two away from this changing. 34% at the airport, 32% at Slidell, so super dry outside. Gorgeous evening ahead. Temperatures dropping into the 50s pretty quickly. It looks like early this evening. As far as comparing to yesterday, we're 2 or 3 degrees warmer, but still very pleasant. Temperatures right now around 70, 72, right at the lakefront with the cooler lake water, a bit cooler at 65 degrees. Tomorrow, guess what? We're going to start in the 50s and we're back into the 70s with a lot of sunshine. But another cold front's on the map, and we'll talk about that impact for next week a little bit later on.
Thanks a lot there, David. Facebook admits thousands of employees had access to millions of passwords. More on the latest oversight for the social media giant when we come back.
And the day after a massive chemical fire was extinguished, people were told to shelter in place. The air quality concerns near Houston coming up. Rescue workers in Mozambique scrambled to save 10,000 survivors of a cyclone. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent says they are clinging to rooftops in a port city, and more heavy rain is in the forecast. There are 200 confirmed dead in Mozambique, and that number is expected to increase dramatically. In neighboring Zimbabwe, more flooding has killed at least 259 people.
That order to stay indoors now lifted for neighbors in a Houston suburb. It's located near the site of this week's raging fire at a petrochemical storage facility. Natasha Chen has the latest on the chemical leak that sparked the shelter-in-place scare earlier today.
We will make this right. In an emotional press conference, a spokesperson for ITC, the company whose storage facility caught fire in Texas this week, addressed the presence of benzene vapors, which caused a shelter-in-place order for the city of Deer Park.
ITC cares. We care a lot. We have been good stewards. We've been good neighbors.
Neighbors were told this morning to stay inside, close doors and windows, and turn off air conditioning. And 6 school districts canceled class. Benzene is a colorless, flammable liquid with a sweet odor that the CDC says can cause symptoms even after brief exposure.
Symptoms from benzene can be headaches, dizziness. You can have some respiratory type conditions.
The chemical is used in gasoline production. After the storage facility fire, responders used a foam blanket to keep benzene contained after the permanent container was damaged in the fire. But as the wind shifted the foam overnight,
it kind of slid a little bit to the side of the tank and went off.
Readings of benzene in the air dropped before noon, so the shelter-in-place order was lifted. But the work continues as ITC pumps the product into another tank, and officials continue to monitor air and water quality.
This was a fire, and it takes a little bit of time.
Tasha Chen, Fox 8 Local First.
Mississippi's governor signs a bill that gives the state one of the most restrictive abortion laws in the country. The law bans most abortions once a fetal heartbeat can be detected. That's about 6 weeks into pregnancy. During today's signing ceremony, Governor Phil Bryant says he's not worried about lawsuits. The New York-based Center for Reproductive Rights says it will sue Mississippi to try to block the law from taking effect on July 1st. Now, this law says abortions could be allowed after a fetal heartbeat if it's found to provide a danger to the pregnancy of a woman's life or one of her major bodily functions. The State House and Senate both rejected efforts to allow exceptions for pregnancies due to rape or incest. And in Kentucky, a federal judge temporarily blocks a second one of that state's new abortion laws from taking effect. The state's governor signed a bill Tuesday that bans abortion for women who want to end the pregnancy because of the gender, the race, or disability to the fetus. The judge blocked the bill yesterday. Last week, the same judge temporarily blocked another new Kentucky law that would mostly ban abortions in the state once a fetal heartbeat is detected. The ACLU sued to stop both laws from going into effect.
The Department of Justice has subpoenaed Boeing as part of a criminal investigation. It's looking into the certification and marketing practices for the company's 737 MAX aircraft. Within the past 5 months, 2 of those jets crashed, killing everyone on board. The most recent, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 earlier this month. Sources tell CNN the DOJ's investigation started after the October crash of a Lion Air flight in Indonesia. Analysts say insufficient training could have been a factor in both crashes.
It must have been just horrifying in the cockpit for these professionals. I mean, it's been stated, well, it should have been a memory item. Well, clearly it wasn't.
A second investigation is looking into whether acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan violated ethics rules by promoting products made by his former employer. Shanahan worked at Boeing for more than 30 years. He denies the claim.
Funerals taking place today in New Zealand for 2 of the 50 people killed during attacks on mosques last week. New Zealand's government also announced a ban on semi-automatic firearms and high-capacity magazines it considers military-style weapons. Those are weapons that hold more than 5 rounds and are capable of being used with a detachable magazine. The government there also plans to stop any sales of the weapons. It's expected that new laws will be rushed through to impose a complete ban.
Facebook admits that it stored passwords for millions of users in plain text for years. Security researcher Krebs on Security exposed the issue. The social media giant acknowledges the passwords were not properly masked in an internal database. That means workers would have been able to access them. The company said the issue was discovered in January during a security review. It says it will notify Facebook and Instagram users who were impacted. Gains by Apple and other big technology companies helped push stocks higher today. The Dow added 216 points, the Nasdaq gained 109, and the S&P 500 added 30 points.
Well, Fox 8 is proud to announce the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters honored our station with a prestige award. We won for our breaking news coverage of flooding in the metro area after heavy rains back in May. We're honored to accept the award, and congratulations to our entire team.
Very exciting. All right, well, a new test can rapidly detect a deadly pregnancy-related condition. How doctors can now check for preeclampsia.
Also, a new attraction on a cruise leaves a man in need of a hip replacement. The changes he's demanding to keep others safe. Well, this week, yet another company recalled one of its blood pressure medications, adding to an already long list. But doctors and pharmacists say patients shouldn't make sudden changes to their health plans. Carmen Poe explains.
Some patients just misunderstandingly think that when they hear recall, they automatically assume that this is my medication.
The fact is, there's a silver lining to this losartan recall. While some batches voluntarily recalled by Legacy Pharmaceutical Packaging are popular, they don't all come from the same place.
The losartan medication has 10 different manufacturers of that medication. So only one maker of the recall was included in that batch. So not everybody will have the same manufacturer of that particular medication.
Pharmacies that work with patients every day to keep their blood pressure in check
What's your date of birth?
are on top of it.
We immediately check our shelves to see, do we have any of this product on our shelves, or have we filled this product recently?
Most likely, if you take losartan and you were affected, somebody has already called.
Hey, Mr. Smith, your medication has been recalled, we have already been in touch with your doctor for an alternative for you.
That's something we're dealing with on a daily basis right now.
Doctors say it's been a mad dash to switch patients to an alternative medicine. The FDA says that trace amounts of impurities were found in the pills. While that might sound scary, the FDA says do not stop taking the medicine. Patients that do stop without doctor's orders could cause more harm than good, putting yourself at risk for a heart attack or stroke.
So continue to take your medicine for a couple of weeks, and probably even a couple of months, maybe even much longer than that, until you can get over to the right medicine.
We try diligently to make sure that their therapy isn't broken either same day or within a few days.
Healthcare professionals say if you have any concerns, contact your doctor or pharmacist.
We also have an important alert for parents. A children's cough syrup is recalled because it could be contaminated with a bacteria known to cause vomiting and diarrhea. These bottles were sold at Dollar General stores nationwide under the DG Health brand. The baby cough syrup and mucus medication was packaged in a 2-ounce bottle. If you happen to have bought one, you can return it to Dollar General for a full refund. If you purchase your St. Jude Dream Home ticket by tomorrow, you'll also be entered in a drawing for a $2,500 American Express gift card. That's in addition to being eligible for a long list of prizes, including that brand new 4-bedroom home in Lakeview. Money raised by those $100 raffle tickets will help the Research Hospital with its mission to cure childhood cancer. We've got a link for tickets on our website.
LSU basketball jumped out to an early lead, but had to sweat it out late.
Sean Fazan has highlights from a thrilling opening round contest.
David Bernard of the Fox 8 Weather Center. We are experiencing some spectacular spring weather. It's going to stick around a while, but I've got a change for you as always. We'll talk about it next.
Welcome back. While we are warming up, we are also on track for another cool front.
That's right. We're not done with that cool weather yet. Our Chief David Bernard has a closer look at your forecast.
Isn't that some good news to hear? Guys, look at the morning lows. It's been chilly, and this morning it hit 37 at Hammond and 41, 42 most other spots, even south of the lake. Away from the lake, we had temperatures drop into the 40s. Now, our average low in the metro area is 54, so that's not that big of a deal, 51 and 53, but we'll take these cool days while we can get them. 71 for the high so far at the airport. Near the lake, it stayed in the 60s. Same for along the coast, the Gulf and the lake. Still pretty chilly. Live look outside, not a cloud to be found. Humidity super low, down into the 20s and 30s, and that's going to make for a great evening with temperatures falling through the 60s into the 50s with very light winds out of the west and also the northwest. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we'll see some 40s on the North Shore and away from the lake, but low 50s in the metro area. Back into the low 70s tomorrow, and I think it's going to be more wall-to-wall sunshine. Look at temperatures right now, 77 in Houston, a little warmer there, and then we go to the east, Montgomery still 68. So we're going to have that warmer weather spread our way. Now, it's not going to be a dramatic warm-up, but it is going to get a little warmer over the weekend. Notice today we're about the same as yesterday. Our 24-hour temperature change is somewhere around maybe 2 degrees warmer, and we're right near where the high temperatures have been for today. Obviously, with more daylight now, our highs are coming later in the afternoon. NOLAweekend.com forecast, comfy sun Friday and Saturday, a little warmer Sunday, 78 and maybe some clouds around, but I don't see any rain for the weekend. That should stay very nice. And, you know, whenever we have these big dips across the northeast and there's a big storm there, that typically sends dry northwesterly winds across our area, and that's the jet stream pattern right now. So that means two things. It stays dry. This is really not favorable for rain, and it's going to keep the cold fronts coming for the time being. But here's our warm-up into Sunday and Monday. May reach 80 on Monday. And then we get another dip in degrees on Tuesday of next week, and that'll keep us at or slightly below our average temperature of 73. Clear and cool out there tonight. For tomorrow, sunshine and high pressure, so a cool morning, then lots of comfy sun. And on Saturday, not much change. Now, the high is going to move to the east. Maybe there's a cloud Saturday afternoon. I think it still stays generally sunny, and this low is going to take its time moving through the plains, but by Sunday, with more of a south wind. We will see some clouds. It'll be a little bit warmer, but any chance of rain looks like it stays to the north and west. So for the weekend, that's still going to be on the dry side. Boy, are we in a dry pattern. Our only rain chance the next 7 days is with the front that comes in on Monday, and that's not even looking like much, maybe around 40%. That's just about it. Lows will be in the 40s and the 50s into the weekend on the North Shore, 50s south of the lake. There's our cold front on Monday, that 40% rain chance. Look at the nice cooler breeze developing by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And gosh, it may stay nice all the way into next Thursday, the way it appears now. Tree pollen. Oh, my car got obliterated by the oak trees while I was out of town. Those appear to be just about done, but we've got hackberry and pine and willow and just about anything else you can think of. Everything is busting out around here. Northeast winds tomorrow, south winds over the weekend. Seas look like they're going to stay below 3 feet. Delta World Tire weather phone updated. That number is always 500-2888. Glad to be back with you guys.
Welcome back.
Yeah, and you deliver like a week of gorgeous weather. We love it.
This is the way to slide back into work with nice sunny, dry weather.
It does feel awesome outside.
Comes back
Glad
rested.
to have you back,
An
too.
easy landing.
Yes.
All right, thank you, David.
LSU advances in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Sean Fazan is here with more.
Well, turmoil surrounding the program had many national experts predicting upset when third-seeded LSU squared off with 14-seed Yale. But the Tigers spoiled those plans, and though it wasn't perfect, they did what superior teams do. NCAA rules prevent us from showing highlights at this time, but Tony Benford, interim coach at LSU, was pleased with what he saw.
The thing is, when you're in the NCAA tournament, okay, I've been in the tournament as a player, coach for years, a lot of years, and there's good teams in the tournament. They're going to make a run. It's a college basketball is a game of runs. That's just, they made a good run. I thought there was a couple of times where guys that maybe had, I don't know if we were pointing fingers at one another. We had some defensive breakdowns, and I think guys were challenging their teammates. We talk about that, taking ownership and keeping one another accountable.
As we mentioned, Maryland and Belmont going down to the wire. Maryland 79, Belmont 77, 2 seconds left. The Tigers advance, obviously, with a 79-74 victory. For a full recap of the game and reaction from the team, head to our Tiger Huddle app, and you'll also find articles and videos for all of LSU's sports. Plus, you can get in touch and submit a question for the Fox 8 sports team. Don't forget to tune in tonight to Fox 8 Overtime. UNO head basketball coach Mark Schlesinger will be our guest analyst. We'll talk LSU's run, UNO's consistency, and the Pelicans down the home stretch of this exhausting season. It's all tonight on Fox 8 News at on Fox 8 at 10:35. The future of Saints receiver Cam Meredith cleared up a bit today. Meredith agreed to take a pay cut, reducing his salary from $3.4 million to $1.9 million. This comes after an injury-plagued first season with the Saints that ended on IR after playing just 6 games. He had just 9 catches on the year. And that is your look at sports.
Okay, thanks a lot there, Sean. A new study shows almost 1 in 5 Americans will bet on the NCAA basketball tournament.
And this comes less than a year after the U.S. Supreme Court gave states the green light to legalize sports betting.
Gray Television's Peter Zampa shows us how the craze is once again consuming fans and non-fans alike.
Millions of Americans lacing up for the madness.
It seems like kind of a crapshoot, to be honest.
Sarah Pugh admits she doesn't know much about basketball. She says she turned over $5 for this year's NCAA tournament.
There might be $5 less in your pocket.
Yes, most likely so.
A recent American Gaming Association study shows 47 million Americans will join Pew.
There is really nothing like March Madness.
AGA CEO Bill Miller says 149 million brackets will be filled out, and 18 million Americans will place bets at sportsbooks, online, or with a friend or bookie. The AGA expects $8.5 billion in total wagers. Miller says the tide changed following last year's Supreme Court decision that cleared the lane for states to legalize sports betting.
Making the options available to people will actually create a better environment.
One group thinks that this piece of paper could lead to serious issues. The National Council on Problem Gaming says the odds are you're not going to be a champion. and your bank account does not believe in moral victories.
Most casual gamblers will lose everything they wager.
Keith White says March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month. He calls gambling the hidden addiction because even though coworkers in an office pool might not show signs, they could be struggling with gambling.
They know how much gambling's devastated their lives, but that urge.
The men's championship game is April 8th in Minneapolis.